As the sun sets here in Virginia, the heat picks up at Richmond Raceway. Richmond has been the site of some of the biggest NASCAR rivalries in history, from Rusty Wallace spinning Jeff Gordon in the '98 Pontiac Excitement 400 to the 2008 season when Dale Jr. and Kyle Busch went back and forth, pitting two fan bases against each other for the rest of the time. Tonight, we will get to experience the excitement virtually in round 16 of the Apex E-Series Showdown, presented by ApexSimRacing.com. And you'll get to see all the action live here on V-Speed Racing Network. Hi, I'm Eddie Smith, and with me in the booth is Virginia native Dakota Wilson. Dakota, tell us a little bit about Richmond Raceway.
Yeah, it's in Richmond, Virginia. It was originally opened in 1946. It is a 3/4 mile D-shaped oval. It's got 60 feet of track surface with a 10-foot apron, and it's banked 14 degrees in the turns, and the front stretch, or the dog leg, is banked at 8 degrees.
Well, it is a amazing racetrack. Tell me, Dakota, what's your opinion on what makes? I mean, it's such a fast short track. It's it's less than a mile, so it's definitely a short track, but it feels fast. It feels like there's a lot of speed. There's a lot of lower lane, upper lane, action that can happen. What makes Richmond just different than any other short track?
Yeah, for sure. You got the short track feel with the speed of a mile or mile and a half. These guys, they'll duke it out. They'll go 3 wide. They'll put the bumper to you. Just trying to get to the front. It really is a spectacle.
Yeah, well, 100%. I completely agree. And tonight we're in a playoff cutoff race, man. Richmond, of the old, NASCAR used to do this. We used to cut off at Richmond, and I think it always put on a pretty dang good show. And so tonight we're going to do the same thing. We're dropping down to 16 drivers. So we're going to start the playoffs after this race. So got some guys who are already locked into the playoff, and then some that are trying to make their way in here as we bring up the point standing. You see Chris Bedwell sitting atop the point standing. He's been one of the most consistent drivers all season long, and started off a little shaky, but man, Chris Bedwell is just laid them out, finish after finish, top 5 after top 5. Only one win, but that shows the consistency that he's been able to manage there to be on top by over 20 points over Charles Stevens Jr., who is another bastion of consistency with 0 wins, but still 24 points out of the lead and 24 points ahead of third place Kip Easley. So, and you can see down the win totals there that the drivers in green are locked in. You'll see there on 15th and 16th, and we are taking 16 drivers into the first round of the playoff. But you see Alan Nash, Aaron Adcock, they are both locked in with the wins. And you see the drivers in yellow. Those are the ones who have to be careful tonight. Some that aren't here may be in trouble. And you see Chris Carroll, Ray Rogers, the reason why they're in red, they have not made the minimum amount of races that you have to do, which is 11. So they do have 3 wins and 2 respectively. Great drivers, and it'll be fun to watch Ray tonight try to get another win as he did last week, but will not be eligible for the playoffs. So you see those drivers in orange or yellow, those are the ones who are fighting for those spots and trying to make it. Matt Rogers, Steven Ayers Jr., both in the race tonight. They will have to win to advance. There's no way they're going to point their way in, but they're still alive, and that's what's important. So, man, ready to get this going. We got about a minute left. We'll take a look at the schedule and see what the rest of this is going to look like. We see we've already covered 16 races once we complete tonight, and then we start the run through the playoffs. Lucas Oil, Milwaukee Mile, Kansas, Bristol, Talladega, Homestead, and Phoenix. Seems like a really, really good playoff schedule. Dakota, what do you think?
Yeah, that is definitely a picture perfect playoff schedule. You've got varying tracks, and I think I would have Bristol and Talladega circled for sure. That's your 2. That is your 2 wild cards for sure in the whole playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, just so much can go right and so much can go wrong there. Lucas Oil, Milwaukee Mile, I feel like those are driver tracks, so the best driver that shows up prepared is going to take those. Then Kansas is just a blast in the pretty much any oval car. I think Kansas puts on a pretty good show. And then Homestead, it's just the legend when it comes to being able to run the top line. And then we end at Phoenix, which, it's going to be a show no matter what. So, But we are getting ready to get this thing rolling. Grid is starting to, they're going to get, let's see if they're gridding up right now. Hot dog. Well, I'll tell you what, Dakota, we got to give out some, some awards and go ahead and get that rolling here as I fumble and try to waste time here as we try to get the grid up. As let's go ahead and give out Chuck Pegleg Pole Award winner, and that's going to go to Garrett Kinder. Takes home the Chuck Pegleg Pole Award, and we'll go through the grid real quick. Starting on the front row is Garrett Kinder and Chris McLean. Row number 2 is Ray Rogers and last week's winner and Tracy Passons. Starting 5th and 6th is Charles Stevens Jr. and Alan Nash. Starting 7th, Willie Evernham and Chuck Pegleg Felt starting in the 8th position. Starting 9th, Josh Lokovitz, and starting 10th, the boss man himself, Aaron Adcock.
Yeah, and then you have James Kunkel rolling off 11th and Dana Shepard beside him in 12th position. Then you got Daniel Holcroft 13th, Stephen Ayers Jr. in 14th. Chris Bedwell will be rolling off 15th and Todd Shop in the 16th position. Then you have Alan Smith and Matt Rogers starting 17th and 18th respectively.
And that will round out the grid. So we've got 160 laps here tonight. And let's talk a little bit about the race analysis sponsored by V-Speed Racing Network. We're, of course, in the Craftsman truck like we have been all season long. Fix set up 160 laps and then stage break on lap 40. So the top 5 will get those stage points, and they will be extremely, extremely important to get those. And then 75% fuel, which will tighten the truck up, make it a little bit not as loose off the corner, so you have to be something you adjust to if you've been practicing on full fuel load. So something to think about, and we'll see how they do on a fuel run. Don't really have that data just yet. We'll try to get for you as the race goes on if we get green flag action. But here we come down to the green flag. Pace car going to pull off the track next time by. Jumping the gun here a little bit, Dakota.
Hey, that's expected. This is the start of the playoffs after tonight, so everybody's hyped up, from the drivers to the broadcast crew to the fans. Hopefully,
yeah, we got a lot of people watching in chat for sure. I know quite a few have already been active already, so definitely appreciate that. Y'all make friends in the chat and cheer for your favorite driver. We'll definitely be watching. Yeah, coming off here, 160 laps. What's your kind of thought process if you're in this race? The first little bit as we get to stage 40. What's your thought process to manage this first 40 lap stage?
Just feel it out. Don't push it so hard. Kind of get a feel for your tire wear, and then as you get out of the first stage, you might watch guys trying to stay out a little longer. Flip the stage, pit early. Just varying routes you can go here to get to the end.
Yeah, green flag is out, and they are screaming down into turn number 1 and 2. Side by side for the lead, Garrett Kinder, Chris McLean with Tracy Passons right there in tow, and Ray Rogers there in 4th position. Now that top side going to work really good for the first 5 or 6 laps, so I expect to see Chris McLean really try to hold on there and try to get that lead. That clean air could be so important. And it looks like he's going to drive deep into the corner. And the 13, I thought he might clear him, but the 13 comes roaring back off of the bottom. I think the bottom's going to be where you want to be as the run goes on. But right now, Chris McLean really making that work up on the high side, trying to get that lead. He is always extremely aggressive early on. There's no doubt about it. Chris McLean, one of the champions here in Apex. I mean, just a legendary Po-Man driver. And he's able to clear Garrett Kinder and take over the top spot in that number 5 machine. And good-looking paint scheme. Probably one of my favorite. Garrett Kinder, they're going to try to come back to the inside. He's not done. He's not willing to just ride, which we know that from Garrett Kinder. It's no doubt about it.
Yeah, for sure. I know watching him at North Wilkesboro, the first race I helped you, announce, he was on a mission there, and I think he'd end up going to the back. He just marched his way right back up to the front. So he's definitely got that dog in him.
Oh, no doubt about it. You know what? he is relatively new to iRacing. I mean, he's a COVID racer, which there's a lot of folks that started during the COVID pandemic, and Garrett Kendall one of them. But man, I tell you what, I've been around iRacing for a long time, almost maybe over 10 years now. Oh gosh, that's a little scary to think about. But what I love about Garrett Kendall is that he loves to bump and bang, and I've kind of modeled my racing style now after him, where he's able to save tire, but he can get in there and mix them up with the best. And dadgummit, if he's going to have a good time, there's one thing that Garrett Kendall's going to do, and that's have fun. And he's going to get up there, get sideways, and he'll be giggling as he goes down to the inside, gets a great run off of turn 4, and he goes down to the inside of McLean, and he's going to take that top spot. So Chris McLean going to settle back in that second position. Tracy Passon's now starting to kind of reach his way up in here, see if he can get his hand in the bucket and try to get up here to the front. Tracy has been very strong here lately. The last few races, he's had some really good finishes and been running up front. If he can get that tire wear issue solved, Tracy Passon's somebody to be paying attention to. And then Dakota, tell me about Ray Rogers, man. Last week's winner. What do you know about him? I mean, just an unbelievable driver.
Yeah, he is. I run with him on Sunday nights and the occasional Tuesdays, for the Sunoco and the MPI series. He's just, if I had to describe him with one word, tenacious. If he starts up front, he'll stay there. Or if, he opts to start in the back, he will bide his time, and then he will march his way to the front. He's just, he's all around just probably one of the greatest, in those two leagues and this one too.
Yeah, 100%. If he shows up every week, people are in trouble. He's the quintessential Kevin Harvick. He's the guy that doesn't need to be flashy. He doesn't need to get up there and lead every lap. He just needs to lead the last one. And he's so daggum good at it. It just makes me mad. He gets up there and he'll play with you. He'll get behind you knowing that he's faster. He'll just get in there and try to make you make a mistake, let you beat yourself. That's kind of what he does. You're trying to race Ray Rogers, you end up punching yourself in the mouth, and that ain't good. But man, he's just so much fun to watch. But currently in the 4th position, he's just hanging back right here as Garrett Kendall, Chris McLean, Tracy Passon start to pull away in this little group of 4. And then right behind him, Charles Stevens Jr. in that 88 machine. He's under fire here from Willie Evernham. So, these guys getting racy real early here. We'll go check out Charles Stevens. Now, he might be a little bit medicated. He had some some back issues, and I think he if we see him get real wide-eyed or maybe fall asleep at the wheel, we'll know what's going on. Yeah, he's you know what? You talk about tough NASCAR drivers. Like, these guys are tough too, man. They get in here with hernias and all kinds of stuff, and get in here and race, and they have a good time doing it. You just can't get them away. You just can't get a sim racer away from his rig.
Yeah, you can probably put Charles in the same category as Ricky Rudd. He had that real bad wreck, and he actually taped his eyes open for the next week. So I'd put Charles right up there with Ricky Rudd. Yeah.
Oh, we got a wreck. Josh Lokovitz goes around with Aaron Adcock off his front bumper, and Josh Lokovitz is sitting on the backstretch with a little bit of damage. Doesn't look too bad, but we're under our first caution here due to the 79 going around. We kind of saw it happen out of the corner of our eye, but not really sure what happened there. We'll go back on the replay here and see if we can maybe figure out what happened between those two drivers. Let's go check out the Kinder Farm and Ranch Wreckage Rewind. We're going to get one this week. You see Aaron on the outside of the 79. The 79 just comes up the track. Yeah, obviously not on purpose. But it just got real tight there. I can tell that that's kind of what happened. And we'll actually go back a little bit real quick. And we'll go on board with Aaron Adcock and show exactly what I'm talking about. Going to come off the corner here, and this is just a really tight corner off of turn 2. That truck gets really tight. Aaron kind of coming off a little bit lower than maybe Josh was expecting. And unfortunately, they make contact and they go around. It's so tough, Dakota. I mean, it's just you're fighting for positions. You're trying to do everything you can. But you know, you get up there and you get racy, and every once in a while, contact's just going to happen, man. You know, they're getting up there trying to race for those positions, and turn 2 is just one of the hardest turns, maybe in iRacing on the oval side, to try to keep a car, you know, coming off the bottom. That truck just goes all the way out to the wall, just pushes out there, and it makes it difficult, especially when you're side by side.
Yeah, for sure. Especially, you know, these things, they're big and they're heavy, and you know, like you said, they like to fan out, you know, coming out of turn 2, and I think he'll be fine as long as the motor's not hurt. You know, who needs a bumper cover anyways? As long as you got them bumper bars underneath it, you're fine.
Praise God. Well, they do have a fast repair, so they can elect to do it. The damage didn't look bad enough to take a fast repair, and it looks like they've gone down pit road, and Josh Lokovitz does do a little bit of damage fixing on that 79 machine. So fast repair still intact, but the 17, a little bit of crinkle on that right front. What do you see, Dakota? It don't really see that much. Oh, Lord. Don't really see that much damage to that 17 machine, so I think he'll be all right.
Oh yeah, he's still good. I think he did nose it into the wall a little bit, but like you said, it's nothing too serious.
And I have noticed that the damage model has seemed to have improved. I know they've had a couple big updates, and the truck was always one of the worst. I mean, you just touch the wall and the motor would blow. It'd just be the weirdest thing. But it seems like that's improved. So, yeah, I don't know. It seems that's a good direction. If we got fenders on them, I want to be able to beat and bang on them and not blow my motor. So it's a good sign. But getting ready to go green here. Garrett Kinder going to lead us down to the green flag with Chris McLean now on the outside. Garrett Kinder with a great jump. Going to get out front here early as they go down in turn number 1. Chris McLean now under fire from Tracy Passons, who goes down to the inside. And Willie Evernham way out of the groove. He's way up the track as they come out of turn 2, that really tight corner. Charles Stevens inside of Ray Rogers. Ray going to fight hard on the outside. And then we got some battling going on back here as Chuck Pegleg Phelps is going to go around. Oh, he saves it. Oh, my goodness, Dakota. What a save by Sledgehammer Man himself.
Yeah, you know it as well as I do. He cranked on that wheel with them big old 24-inch Python as he got there. He probably bent the steering wheel.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it. I mean, he used to have a big steering wheel, but now it looks like it's just a box. He just squeezed the wheel until now it's just a small little old steering wheel. But that was a heck of a save. He was pretty much all the way sideways. Got a little help from the apron and able to hang on to it. But, yeah, Chuck put all that working out he does, he put it to use right there as he was able to hang on to that thing. We'll try to get a replay here on the picture-in-picture and show you exactly what happened is try to get you a camera for it as we'll pull it up here on the picture-in-picture and see what happened to Chuck. He makes a little contact with Chris Bedwell. Oh, no, it looks like it was actually Kunkel. He's almost 3 wide for a second, and then just a difference of entry there between those two drivers. Make a little bit of contact, and no harm, no foul, though. Chuck's still rolling. Speaking of rolling, we got a couple drivers on the move. Chris Bedwell right now, your biggest mover, as he is up to 10th position, cracking the top 10. Now, he is not qualified very well, pretty much any point in this season. It's been really weird to see Bedwell struggle here in qualifying. I don't remember if he put a time down even, but he's had a tough go at it. He's always starting near the back, but always finding himself up to the front, and he is trying to make that happen right now as he's up in the top 10. A couple other drivers, Aaron Adcock, James Kunkel, also up a couple spots from where they started, and Matt Rogers in that 96 machine. He's got to win to get in, Dakota. How does the mindset change when you know there's nothing I could do other than win? What do you do differently? What can you do differently to try to get up there if you don't have the speed, to drive up to the front? What can you do, man, to try to put yourself in a position to get a win and advance into the playoffs?
Yeah, You know, being in a must-win definitely is not a good situation, but you can if you get a long green flag run, you can kind of stay out. You know, everybody will pit, and you can hope and pray for a caution. You know, you get your caution, you come in a pit, and you'll be on the freshest tires, the fullest fuel load, and then you can really give it the beans and, you know, start being aggressive with these guys.
Yeah, I mean, everybody says they don't care until they get into a situation like this, and you start to see them do crazy and wild things. Matt Rogers, pretty low key, pretty chill, but I'm excited to see if him or Stephen Ayers, who's also in the same boat, you know, if they get aggressive, they start to, you know, maybe have a little less patience as he's trying to. Well, you see, he definitely had plenty of patience there as Dana Shepard gets tight off of 2, and he was able to. He just kind of backed off a little bit. But yeah, just want to see how aggressive these guys are going to be, and if they're willing to, you know, like you said, throw some Hail Marys, see what sticks. You know, try something, try 2 tires, get out front at the end maybe if a late caution comes out. There's so many opportunities, and I think that's what makes the playoffs so exciting sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. You know, and on the flip side of that, you have to take calculated risks too. You know, you don't want to send it 3 or 4 wide, you know, early in the race. You want to save that. You want to save that in your back pocket for late in the race when you absolutely have to go.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Well, we'll kind of go through here. I want to see who we got on camera tonight. I want to highlight. I always like to highlight the guys who show their webcams and give us a little insight of what they look like. Daniel Holcroft, struggling right now. He is a little bit off the pace, so I don't know. That's not normal for him. He's normally moving up through the field, but having a little bit of issue tonight. He's dropped 3 spots from where he started and currently runs in the 16th position. But, man, he looked good, though. We're glad to have him. Missed him last week. I was told that he almost was going to lock in and got the call from work and had to miss it. So we're glad to have him here tonight, and as always showing off his driver cam. But he's got some time. You know, he may be saving a set of tires. These guys have 4 sets of tires, and so the stage break coming at lap 40. He may be just trying to roll around there, save a set, and do a little pit strategy here at the stage break. We'll see how that plays out, but currently he's sort of on the struggle bus here back in 16th place. We got Chris McLean, who's currently in the 2nd position, trying to run down Garrett Kinder, who's starting to pull away by about 0.6 of a second. And as he gets in the wall a little bit, you saw that right arm come up. He got wild there for a second, but he definitely a championship favorite. Chris McLean is. But you can see he's really wheeling that thing. That thing looks rough and loose. And you can see his eyes are wide as ghosts, like he's seeing a ghost there, Dakota, as he is. Looks like me when I get loose.
Yeah, you know, he's got his hat around frontwards right now. But, you know, you get late in this race, you see a hat turn around, they might be in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. All right, who else we got on the camera tonight? Well, I have showed pretty much everybody else. We got to talk about the boss man, who's moving his way back up through the field after that contact with Josh Lokovitz. He's up 3 spots from where he started. He's made up a little bit of ground. It looks like he's sitting low in that seat. I don't know where his neck went, but it's somewhere around in there. It may have come off. Might have to put it back on. But you see he's got those nice Po-Man gloves on, the skeleton gloves like Dale Jr. wears. And he is focused, concentrating, trying to get himself up into the top 5. He is hurting on points, sitting pretty far out, but he's got that win, locked himself in. That's big for him. So he'd love to try to move his way up through the field and have a better starting point for the playoffs.
Yeah, and the field really will be in trouble if he reaches down there and puts that helmet on that he put on that one night in the Sunday night Sunoco League. He threw that helmet on and threw down his qualifying lap and then proceeded to almost flip out of his seat.
Yes, he did. I mean, I think that turned into a GIF that gets used often. So, but right now, looking to try to catch up with Alan Nash. He's about a second back from the 27 car. It's got a little bit of work to do, but a stage coming up as we are on lap 39. So, Garrett Kinder coming around to take the checkered flag, and he will win the first stage here at Richmond. Chris McLean going to come home in second. Tracy Passons third. Ray Rogers fourth. And Charles Stevens is going to be fifth in the stage. Your stage one winner, Garrett Kinder. So what are we doing here, Dakota? I think we probably agree that everybody's coming down pit road. I don't know if we'll have any strategy calls, but what are you doing inside the driver's seat? It's a fixed setup. You really can't change anything. You can do brake bias, but that's really about it in the car. What are you going to do? What are you looking at when you go down pit road, change those 4 tires? What are you trying to figure out to try to improve? If you're Garrett Kinder, you're up front, you're doing what you need to do. But if you're Tracy Pass, if you're Charles Stevens, if you're Aaron Adcock, what are you trying to look for and maybe change up for this second stage?
You want to come down and obviously get four fresh tires, and then you can see what your tire wear was, what temps they was at. So like you said, there's nothing you can really do with a fixed setup, but you can alter your driving style. If your right sides have wore out and they're scorching on the temperature, you can back off a little bit. You can roll it through the center of the turn more, and really just mold your driving style around your tire wear and your temperatures.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think you're right on the money with that. As we watch these guys come down pit road, and we'll try to see if we can see the battle off pit road. If Garrett Kinder can hold on to this top spot, that track position going to be extremely important. But everybody got in their stalls pretty well. Garrett Kinder going to win the battle off of pit road. And a nice little battle between Tracy Passons and Ray Rogers. But it looks like everybody's going to kind of hold where they were. Aaron Adcock, though, falling back. He is maybe staying in pit road to get some of that damage fixed. Odd decision there with that fast repair. And Josh Lokovitz ended up taking his fast repair. So Aaron, all that he made up, he goes down pit road, sees he got about 40 seconds of damage, decides to come down and fix it. I don't know about that call. What do you think about it, Dakota?
Well, maybe he's planning on, hopefully he don't, but you never know. You might have a one heck of a wreck later that you need that fast repair for. So, I could see sitting in there for, 20, 25 extra seconds, try to get some of that damage fixed. Maybe help a truck run a little bit better.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great point. He may have felt like, okay, I feel like the damage is really affecting the truck, and while I am, able to make up some spots, it's not driving perfect. So I think, I think that's something I didn't even consider. So. But first stage in the books, and now we got a long run. Now we had the one caution, and now we're at the second on the stage break. And, so the short run, everybody knows, you kind of run fast, especially if you're trying to get playoff points. You try to, really get with it during the first 40 laps. But then now you're staring down the barrel of about 115 laps here, maybe a little bit less. But you're staring down the barrel of that. And we know if you've ever raced at Richmond that it can get tight on you pretty quickly, especially as the sun goes down. The track actually cools off. We'll actually check that right now. The track temp's at 81 degrees, and that's only going to continue to fall as the sun sets. And that kind of gives off a tight condition. So as the run goes on, you really want to make sure that right front doesn't get heated up too much, and try to make sure you got enough grip to get off the corner as well. So. A lot to think about here with 110, 115 laps to go. Pace car getting ready to head off down pit road. Going to be 114 laps, 115 laps to go, if my math is right. I'm staring at those numbers, and I'm just not sure sometimes if my math is right from Mississippi. So, there's all kinds of wheels and gears turning, trying to figure out how many laps there are to go. But we're going to go green here with Garrett Kinder in the restart zone. Going to get another great launch, and it's going to set himself up to a 3/10 lead before they hit turn one. But right behind him, Tracy Passons, he has been very aggressive on these restarts, and that doesn't change as he's going to try to make it work on the bottom. We've seen the top side prevail early on sets of tires, and Chris McLean has been one of the best at doing it. So let's see if he can make it happen here. Battle for second position. Goes wide there, but Tracy gives him a wide berth off the corner, so that kind of scrubs his speed off as well. So these guys are going to continue battling for second place, and they might run into Garrett battling side by side.
Yeah, usually, if you're the leader and you look back and see second and third battling, you're like, yeah, this is my chance to, get out of Dodge a little bit. But they're pretty. Oh, Tracy goes. Oh, there's another good save right there.
Dang, he must have some chuck arms too, because he had a fantastic save. I mean, you could tell that's how hard they were racing. And Tracy's going to fall back to the 5th position. Now he's under fire from all kinds of drivers behind him, but pretty dang good save. Oh, he's going to try to squeeze Bedwell, trying to recover. He's going backwards now. Oh, Kunkel's going to go get sideways. Dakota, what's going on, man? It must be a full moon. Why are these guys getting loose like this?
Ooh, that's the fresh tires right there for you. You kind of gotta be a little careful and tiptoe it for a little bit. Let them temperatures kind of build up a little bit.
Yeah, that is absolutely right. I mean, these tires. I mean, the technology is so crazy in these these machines, but also these tires. They have an optimal tire temp that they need to get to have full grip. The air pressure start out low and they pump up over time. And early, got to give them time to get heated up and get that tire temp in it. As we watch Aaron Adcock trying to make his way back up through the field after taking that damage repair. He's right behind Alan Smith, though, in that 3 truck, who is having a dang good race. Alan is up 6 spots from where he started. Guys going to the back, having some damage repair. And guys getting loose, but Alan Smith, man, he is right here outside the top 10, started in the 17th position. Just coming off vacation. He's been driving all day, and dadgummit if he ain't going to be driving all night here at Richmond. So trying to run down a popular driver in the chat, who is Dana Shepard, who's right in front of him. Last lap, Alan a little bit faster, about a 10th faster, and again this time about a half a 10th faster than Dana. So Alan trying to get to the back bumper. Dana going to go way up the track. It's going to open the doors. Watch this battle here. This is for the 10th position. Dana Shepard kind of running up on the top side, but you see the run that he gets off the corner. I mean, while he maybe looks like he's getting beat on entry and through the middle, off the corner, he gets such a big run, especially off of turn 4. Turn 2, it's hard to do that. It's actually hard on the right front, but off of turn 4, you really get a nice run. You've actually seen some people, Dakota, run up all the way at the wall to get a run off of turn number 4.
Yeah, for sure. That's the beauty of having, that 60 foot of track width. It's not just a 2-lane track. You can take it. You can take it to that 3rd lane if you're brave enough. And on top of that, you've got, I think there's like 10 foot of apron space. So, essentially you got 70 feet if you really want to do something wild.
Yeah, if you had a big high horsepower car, man, it's just so much fun to get up there and just let that right rear hang out, almost like you dirt tracking it a little bit. And that's something I know you know a lot about. That throttle control being such a big deal, especially when you're trying to run a line like Dana was. You got to be able to have that throttle control, because if you heat them up here, you're in trouble. We've already seen Chris McLean heat up the rear tires, and saw him doing a lot of wiggling off the corner. And we're just getting to 100 laps to go. If you start burning the rears off, and you have trouble getting the power down, it's going to be a long 100 laps for you.
Yeah, for sure. You want to save enough tire that you're not, falling off that cliff, super hard. Falling back 1 or 2 spots ain't bad, but if you get them, super hot, you're gonna drop to the back like a weight.
Yeah. Tracy passes to the back bumper of Charles Stevens Jr. Charles drives it in deep, able to get that thing going in that Low Cash Motorsports Chevrolet, but Tracy falling back after that. He was battling for second place, fell back to almost back towards the back half of the top 10, but now working on the back bumper of Charles Stevens Jr. And I'll tell you what, Charles Stevens, these guys are affiliate teams, but not necessarily teammates. And this is not a knock on Charles. It's just his driving style and his the way he races. He is very, very hard to pass, and I think that's a compliment. I don't think that's a bad thing at all. I think that when you're hard to pass, people talked about Ryan Newman being just the hardest man to pass. Well, that's a good thing. I think that means you know how to race, and you got good racecraft, and you know how to battle. And so Charles Stevens, he's not going to move over and let anybody go. He's sitting second in points, needing a win. He'd love to get up there and get a victory.
Yeah, for sure. Anytime you can keep, one of the proverbial favorites to win any race, as long as you can keep him behind you, you're doing something right.
This battle kind of subsides right now. Chris Bedwell falling back just a little bit towards these guys. He's running in the 4th position. He has moved up 11 spots. So Bedwell, your points leader, showing why he is the points leader, running in the top 5. And then right up front, got Ray Rogers putting a little pressure here on Chris McLean for this 2nd position. Chris McLean he's got some speed, but just feels like Garrett Kinder's kind of got the field covered at the moment. I'm waiting to see if anybody's got anything for that 13 machine, but that Kinder Farm and Ranch Ford F-150, he is extremely fast right now. I mean, he is not the fastest truck on the track, but he's most consistent. And at short tracks, Dakota, consistency is basically being the fastest. If you can run the same lap time over and over again and be consistent at a short track, it really adds up over time.
Yeah, for sure. And running a consistent line lap after lap really helps too. If you move up a foot, that's going to alter your time too. He's got a good lead, but I wouldn't consider that a comfortable lead right now. With the likes of McLean and Rogers behind you, they're going to be chomping at the bit to close that gap. Yeah,
it's going to be interesting to see what what they can do on fuel, and B, what the tire run is. What the tires do at the end of a tire run. I said a lot of words, didn't really say anything there. But I just, Richmond's one of those where you can keep a truck pretty balanced, it feels like. There's a lot of tracks that, trend tight or trend loose, but if you run the track properly, which it looks like Garrett is, obviously he's out front, running right there on that yellow paint, that the truck really stays neutral the whole time, and I think that's sort of what you want. You want to be able to get off the gas, get on the brake, turn the truck, roll the center, and then get back on the gas as soon as you can. Come off a little bit low. Don't go all the way to the wall off the 2. And then right in 3 and 4, you want to get on the gas a little bit sooner here and really try to carry that speed with a little counter steer off the corner and try to carry it all the way down. Look how long that straightaway is for a 3/4 mile track. That's a long straightaway. And if you don't hit turn 4 just right, you're losing a lot of time. So you can see just how smooth he is on the wheel. Not really struggling at all. Actually misses the corner a little bit there, but recovers nicely. So but battle for second heating up again as Ray Rogers going to get back to the back bumper of the 5 machine. Backed off just a little bit. It looks like Ray is ready to set this pass up. You can see really getting the entry. When you're chasing somebody, it seems like you can really get in the entry a lot better because you've got that person in front of you that you can kind of gauge your braking point off of. So he's able to get right to the back bumper. Turns 2, it looks like McLean's pretty good, but right there, 3 and 4, Ray Rogers really strong off of turn 4, but just not able to get position. And McLean's going to be up the track a little bit. It's going to open the door. McLean's going to get a little bit loose. Ray not able to capitalize on it just yet, but I mean, Ray looks like he's pretty solid and comfortable, but McLean looking a little nervous. The truck kind of slipping aside. You see he's getting a little yawed out there on entry there, Dakota.
Yeah, I know. Speaking from experience, you get Ray Rogers behind you, you're going to be looking out your rear view more than you're looking out your windshield. I know there's been multiple times, I'm foot to the floor just, trying to get away from him, and he's seems like he's running half throttle, enjoying a cup of tea, and he just blows by me like, "Hey, I'll see you later, feller."
Yeah, he gets to the inside here off of turn 2, but McLean with that run able to hold him off for now. Yeah, Texas in the MPI Xfinity Series, he got to my back bumper on a long run. No, he's going to get a run here. Let's see if he looks down to the inside. Nope, he's doing exactly what he did to me, which is let me know constantly that he's there. He rode behind me. He rode behind me the whole time and just waited for me to make a mistake, and then drove right by me.
It reminds me of that old NASCAR game. You know, you get up behind somebody, you hit that intimidate button, they'll mess up eventually.
He's such a nice guy. It's such a dirty style of racing, which I wouldn't say it's dirty. That's the wrong word, but it's fun to watch. That's for sure. He's like a scalpel with the way he races. It's really unbelievable. You won't see him do anything wild and crazy. He won't make any wild moves. He makes very calculated, like you said, moves, and he's just like a scalpel, man. He's going to only take what he can get, nothing more. Go check out this battle here. We got a side-by-side battle between Tracy Passons, who was able to get around Charles Stevens Jr., and now is setting his sights on the 4th position. He's down to the inside of your points leader, Chris Bedwell, and he's as the tires start to wear out, that top line just not as strong as it once was. And it seems like right now, Dakota, you really need, once the tires start to wear here, you really have to use the whole track. You know, so being side by side is almost a detriment to both cars at this point, or trucks at this point. You really, really want to be single file to be able to use the whole track, as that right front starts to scream at you off of turn 2 and turn 4.
Yeah, for sure. You know, you want to limit your time you're beside somebody on these old tires. You know, if you're down low and you know you spin it around, you could collect a guy on the outside, and then on the other side of that, if you're up high, you know, on these old tires, you hit that outside wall, you're going to shoot straight down the track, and you know that's going to be a big problem for everybody involved.
Yeah, it does not take much, especially at a short track, to find yourself in trouble. As Bedwell's starting to fall back. You know, I'm actually surprised to see him on the long run struggle here. He just got passed by Tracy Passons, who is really quick right now. Tracy, the fastest truck on the track. Last time by, he ran a 23 flat the last lap, and everybody else Garrett Kinder ran a 1, and the two in front of him running 2s as they are side by side. Battle for second place. Ray Rogers finally gets to the inside of the 5, and I don't think McLean's going to have much for him here as they come off of turn 4. Now Ray Rogers takes over the second spot with 80 laps to go. Does he have enough speed to run down that 13 machine? We're about to find out. I kind of wanted to see this. I knew McLean seemed like he was falling back a little bit, so I want to know what Ray Rogers has got for that 13 machine. He is about 2 seconds back now from Garrett Kinder, and we'll see as they cross the line what Ray Rogers is able to do with a little bit of clean air, and he is 2/10 faster than Garrett Kinder last lap, the only driver in the 22-second bracket, albeit very, very close to the 23 at 22.995 lap time. So
yeah, usually a 2-second lead anywhere is like, oh man, that's great. You know, I'm just going to set sail. Not when you got Ray Rogers coming up behind you with clean air. It's like, oh man, I got to go.
Yeah, and he's already dropped 0.3 on off that lead that Garrett Kinder has. So as they cross the line, I'll give you the lap times again, but try to keep tabs on this, as looks like Ray has definitely got the speed to do it. Garrett Kinder 182, and Ray Rogers 22.991. That's that consistency I was talking about earlier, Dakota.
Yeah, I think you got two of the most consistent guys up here at the front now, and you know, like you said, Ray's he's starting to eat away at that 2-second lead. So I'd say before it's all said and done, Ray's going to be chewing on that back bumper.
Yeah, we saw him have difficulty passing Chris McLean, so I'm interested to see. I feel like Richmond is one of those tracks that is very, very difficult to set up a pass because you just don't have the rear grip, especially towards the end of a run. So I don't know if he gets to him, if he's going to be able to really, it's going to take a while, I think, to make that pass if he is able to run him down, but he's slowly catching him, about a tenth a lap. So Ray Rogers definitely faster, and Garrett Kinder's going to have some lap traffic up here. I mean, Stephen Ayers Josh Lokovitz a couple laps down, but Stephen Ayers tail end of the scoring loop here. He doesn't want to go a lap down, but he actually moves up out of the way. That's the kind of respect that you expect out of somebody like Stephen Ayers, and he just gives way. So no issue there for Garrett Kinder, but I mean Garrett's going to continue to run into lap traffic, and that's going to make it even harder for him to keep Ray Rogers behind him. He's just got Alan Smith right up in front of him.
Yeah, lap traffic is definitely one of them great unknowns. Are they going to race hard to stay on the lead lap, or are they, move up the track like Steven did to let the leaders go by?
Or you don't know what lane they're going to take, and you've got fresh tires. You come out of pit road, and you're going around the outside, and then you just don't know what lane they're going to be in. They may take your lane, and you hit the wall.
Yeah, I kind of feel like me and you've been there before.
So, I mean, lap traffic can be annoying, that's for sure. And so, but Garrett's starting to equalize it a little bit. He's still running competitive lap times. Chris McLean about 0.3 off of those guys. And Tracy Passons, you see the 5 truck constantly loose. I know he is ready to get some tires on that 5 machine. Try to go back through the field, see if we've got any. I know we've got some Dana Shepherd fans, so we'll go ahead and give you a Dana Shepherd recap or update. Currently in 11th position, has moved up 1 spot. Dana Shepherd currently running in that 11th, and looks like we got some guys coming down pit road, so we'll put the Dana Shepherd minute on pause as looks like Chris McLean, Charles Stevens Jr. both coming down pit road, so these guys can most likely make it to the end, do a little undercut here, Dakota.
Yeah, that's definitely a good call to make. In McLean's case, he was starting to fall off a cliff pretty good. He can get his 4 fresh tires, get it full of fuel, and set sail and hope this thing runs green.
It's the scary thing is you almost go down 2 laps here at a track like this, and so you really have to be careful. If you do catch that caution, if caution comes out right now, that really, really is going to hurt them. Now, if it comes out right now, they'll be able to stay out, but they'll have to take the wave around and put them at the end of the longest line with a couple laps older tires. So there's so many. Pitting early is so nerve-wracking. I don't know about you, Dakota, but pitting early is always just so hard to do. You want to. I like to stay out as long as I possibly can, just because I just know that the darn cautions are always going to come out whenever I'm on pit road. It always seems to happen.
Yeah, and that's probably one of my biggest downfalls is pit sequence. I'm a dirt track racer. It's you're out on that track. Unless you bust a tire, you stay out. So pit strategies. That's at the bottom of my list.
Yeah. Well, it's it's just a roll of the dice. You talking about McLean coming down pit road to take advantage of those new tires, and he's it gets a little bit out of shape, but honestly, I mean he is about 0.6 of a second or 0.6 a lap faster than the leaders right now. That's not a whole lot of fall off compared to other tracks who may have, a couple seconds or even 3 seconds of fall off sometimes. So, while he will make up some time and will probably inherit the lead, it's just the tire fall off's just not that much. Because like right now, Garrett Kinder's running, or Ray Rogers running 23.2s and Chris McLean running 22.7s with, 50 lap fresher tires. So, odd to see that. I think, you expect a little bit more fall off, but it's not quite happening.
And like you said, that's the risk you take. How much tires have these guys up front saved, or you truly never know.
Yeah, that's why we love racing, man. It's just, it can be the greatest feeling in the world and also the worst pain. As somebody that's raced in real life like you have, I mean, is that true? Does that feel that? I mean, you could be on the top of the mountain 1 minute and then down at the bottom in the valley, laid over on your face the next.
Oh yeah, there was case in point, I was my championship year in 2019 with Raceway. I finished second in a race. I'm like, man, I should have won that. Then we rolled through the tech building, and the leader was actually underweight, so I inherited the win. And, I've been on both sides of that. I've been like, finishing fourth or fifth place. You get disqualified. You're like, man, it's really the great heartbreak. Either which way you go.
Well, speaking of heartbreak, got some issues. Garrett Kinder comes down pit road. I know some people are probably wondering what the heck happened here. As I will go on the replay here and see what happened to Garrett Kinder. I think he tried to go down pit road a little bit earlier and missed it. Go on board with Ray Rogers here and see what happened to the 13 machine. Yeah, he's trying to come down pit road. And great camera work by the producer here. He tries to go down pit road right here. And he's just going to miss it. I mean, he was going right for the barrels, and he loses the lead because of it. But a scary moment. But, I mean, a good call by him not trying to force it into those barrels. But that ended up losing the lead. But tight little pit road there, and he had to come around and try again. So a little mistake there from the leader, and I think, that could end up hurting you at the end. Ray Rogers now down on pit road, making his stop. Gives up the lead. Bedwell going to inherit that. He's ready to get those 4 tires and fuel and set his sights on the end of this race as they cut this stage in half. They've run 61 laps on these tires, and there's just under 60 laps to go.
Yeah, Richmond, it's probably one of the most technical pit roads because, you really have no access road to get slowed down. You're coming straight off the track. You hit that apron where it transitions, and you just never know where it's going to go if you're going 5-10 mile an hour over the pit speed limit.
Yeah, and I think he did the right thing. I think some people might have tried to slide it or whatever, and I think he was coming in at such a speed that he needed to go back out on track. I think he made the right call because sliding your passenger over into those barrels probably would end up really hurting you versus what he's got going on now. Aaron Adcock comes out of pit road, making his 4 tire and fuel stop. Final stop of the race. Gets up through the gears and going to set his sights here on the 2 right in front of him, Alan Nash and Chuck Phelps. But out front, James Conkle in that 48 machine, staying out 64 laps. Him, Dana Shepard, Daniel Holcroft, the top 3 at the moment. Once everything cycles around, if we don't have a caution here, Chris McLean will inherit the lead. But right now, James Conkle out front. He's doing that strategy that you talked about earlier that some of these drivers might want to try that need a win. James Conkle doesn't need a win, but trying to stay out, hope he gets that caution. He'd be in a really great spot if he could get it.
Yeah, if there's someone crazy enough to do it, it's going to be James Conkle. He actually messaged me before the race. He's like, when I wreck tonight, you make it exciting. And I was like, he's just one of them, great characters, no matter what league he's in.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a really nice addition to this series. We've had some really great drivers and great people in the league, but the Nitro Motorsports guys have, they're so friendly. They're so nice. They come in, they race respectfully. I really can't think back a time where, anything egregious has happened. I think they've been extremely clean. It gets real close to that wall there off of turn 2. Oh, it looks like Dana Shepard is going to get a little bit of it back there at the top of your camera. But these guys have just been a blast to have here in Apex. It seems like they have a good time, so we're always glad to have them. So right now they're doing a little strategy call. James Conkle out front, Daniel Holcroft in third. And the 68 laps now you're on tires, just waiting, hoping that we get a caution. Oh, we do have Daniel Holcroft slow here. He almost was the caution. I wonder if he just missed pit road as well. I think he did, Dakota.
Yeah, I'm not totally sure what happened there, but that's goes back to that being a tricky pit road. And barrels might be full of sand, but they are unforgiving.
Well, it looks like I was wrong. Let's go check it out on the replay and see exactly what happened to Daniel Holcroft. We'll go on board with him. Kinder Farm and Ranch Wreckage Rewind, and we're going to see exactly what happened coming off of. Oh, he gets a little help, it looks like. It's a little help from the 5 machine, so. Oh, no, okay. I see what happened. Yeah, it looks like Holcroft gets a little tight off the corner, and just Chris McLean not able to get woed up in time, but Holcroft did a great job of saving that thing. I mean, we've seen some really great saves tonight.
Yeah, for sure. That's the beauty of these short tracks. A lot of big moments, a lot of great saves, and that's why I prefer a short track, over a mile or mile and a half track. Short tracks and super speedways. That's where your excitement factor is at.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Willie Evernham with a little bit of trouble as to go in the picture-in-picture and see exactly what happened as James Kunkel's still out front. But you're going to see Willie Evernham gets a little bit of that apron. He's going to go all the way through the grass down to pit road. But dadgummit if he didn't save it. I mean, he's going to make the landscaping crew a little upset, but he saved that truck and back on track. We stayed green. So some really incredible saves, man. It keeps happening.
He must have flipped that 4-wheel drive switch on to get out of that grass real quick.
Yeah, we hit that forward low. Come on. James Kunkel still out on the track. Dana Shepard about 4 seconds back. Josh Lokovitz comes down pit road. Josh Lokovitz just have a tough night. That early incident, he goes a couple laps down. He's just 1 lap down now, but he's making his pit stop now, so he'll go down another lap, but hasn't had the caution that he needs to maybe recover. So a tough night for that 79 machine, as looks like Dana Shepard now coming down pit road and expecting to see those drivers pretty soon. But here we go. Garrett Kinder, Chris McLean falling back as he's got quite a few more laps on their tires. But here it is. This will be the race for the lead if we don't get a caution here, as Ray Rogers now to the back bumper of Garrett Kinder. So Garrett, while he did have that issue coming down pit road, able to get out in front of that 51 machine, but now he's under fire from Ray Rogers, and now he's got to Garrett Kinder's going to have to put together the best 40 laps he's got. Ray gets right to the back bumper of that big Frig Ford F-150. Oh, they both get a little squirrely off the corner. You see Ray able to just really drive right into the corner. Running a little bit higher than Garrett. Garrett gets a great run off that corner. Oh, Ray gets a little bit of the wall there. A little odd to see out of Ray. Ray, not that tells me he's really pushing here.
Yeah, that's one of the rare slip ups I've seen Ray have. He's awesome on fresh tires, but I think his wheelhouse is definitely when it's old, it's wore out, low fuel, just have the car stacked against you. That's when he really thrives.
Yeah, he entered in a little high there, maybe trying to get the run off of turn 4, drive it down off the corner. But he is there. But can he get a run on that 13? That 13 has been just as good. We saw Ray start to run him down towards the end of that run. But, if I had to put my money on anybody, I mean, Garrett Ray would be pretty much even odds. It's like James Kunkel is going to give up the lead and is going to bring that 48 machine down at pit road. That Valvoline scheme, which it's hard to beat a darn Valvoline scheme. You can put it on a turd and it'd look good. But stayed out for 81 laps on that set of tires and fuel, so he's gonna be scooting when he comes out. See if he's able to hold on to that top 10. Not gonna be able to. He's gonna drop to about 12th, but he'll have the freshest tires on the field for sure. But going back up front, want to stay here on this battle as Garrett going to come up to a little bit of lap traffic. Willie Evernham in that 91 machine hopefully can see what's going on behind him. But, man, Ray is really laying on the pressure here for that 13 machine. But, man, great racing all night long. I mean, we've seen some really good battles. Some side-by-side racing, long-run stuff. I mean, it's this race has pretty much had it all. And we've had guys, 3 or 4 guys, almost wreck, able to save it. It's just been a fantastic race. I just haven't really been wanting for any kind of action. We got plenty. As Garrett gets a little bit loose there. As they go around the 91 machine of Willie Evernham, he's going to tuck in behind Ray Rogers. But, man, Dakota, I don't know what to do here. I mean, Garrett looks like he's driving the wheels off of it. But, I mean, you don't want to burn the tires up, but you also have to make sure you get on the throttle faster, get the run down the straightaway. I mean, if you're Garrett Kinder, what are you doing here to try to make sure that 51 doesn't get by you?
It's going to be a lot of driving out of that rearview mirror. At the same time, you gotta be watching where you're going to, because they are starting to get into lap traffic. But like you said, you want to get back on the gas just a fraction of a second before that guy behind you. To get that extra drive off before he does. But it goes back to Ray Rogers. He's one of the best.
Well, if I had to give him a corner, let's say I mess up in the middle and I know I'm about to not get the throttle down, do you give him the high side or do you give him the low side here? What do you think?
That's a 50-50 shot. I think they're still relatively new into this run, so if I had to pick, I'd probably give them the high side because they're not on like fresh tires.
Oh, and Garrett's going to slide up.
Lord.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but he slid up on entry, missed the entry, and now they're side by side for the lead. And Ray Rogers is going to have the preferred line into turn number 1. Let's see if Garrett can get that thing pointed down. He's going to try to get a run, but that 51 takes over the top spot as he waited just the right moment, and that 13 made a mistake. And Ray Rogers now takes over the lead. I think that he's only led 4 laps, so he's been up front all race long, and now he's going to lead the most important laps, which is probably going to be the next 28.
Yeah, it's almost like they knew we was talking about that scenario, and he's like, well, we'll make a fool out of y'all.
Kevin Kinder in chat said, don't make a mistake, and that's exactly what happened. Garrett Kinder, but it doesn't surprise me. It's just how hard he's having to drive. I mean, these guys are racing their guts out, and we'll watch from Ray Rogers' view here on the picture-in-picture exactly what happened, and we'll watch as that 13 just misses the corner here. See that Ray Rogers has a run here, and Garrett just misses the bottom, and when that happens, that truck sails up, and Ray able to get down to the inside. And that's all it takes. McLean on pit road. Not really sure what's going on with Chris McLean, but here on lap 134, he comes down pit road. So I don't know if he had some damage. He didn't use a fast repair, but that 5 machine making what I think is an unscheduled pit stop. I mean, we've seen these guys. We saw Kunkel go 81 laps, so it's definitely not a fuel thing. Not really sure what happened to Chris.
Yeah, he might be playing a little pit strategy here. He is a lap down, but if he can get back and a caution comes out, he's going to be right there at the front. You never know if these guys leading. You get a caution if it's like, hey, we can come down. We got enough laps. Let's come get some freshies, and and see what happens. So it might be a little bit of a strategy play.
I like it. I like it. A little, if you do what the leader's doing, you're going to finish third or fourth or wherever he was running. So I like the way that sounds. So you may be right on that one. Start to see the sun set. Track temp still about 82 degrees, so that really hasn't changed. But McLean trying some interesting strategies. But as far as the strategy that has been working out right now, James Kunkel has moved himself back into the top 10 after staying out so long, and now he's going to go down to the inside of Charles Stevens. He is one lap down, so he's trying to fight his way back up there, unlap himself, but he's in the 9th position. So making use of those fresh tires. We've got about 22 laps to make use of it. So it's got to be fun to do that kind of strategy. Oh, you see Matt Rogers back there getting loose. But it's got to be fun doing that kind of strategy because now he doesn't have to worry about saving tires. He just comes out and just hammers down, and he just gets with it.
Yeah, he's full bore here till the end. Like I said, if there's anybody crazy enough to do it, it's going to be Kunkel.
Well, that 48 machine is fast. I mean, he's the fastest truck on the track by over 3/10 over Ray Rogers, so he is definitely scooting. But he's got to make up a full lap. Up front, though, Ray Rogers doing what Ray Rogers does, starts to pull away. He's going for 2 wins in a row. Had a fantastic race last week at Pocono, and is keeping that momentum going tonight as he drove all the way up from 4th position and has assumed the lead with about 30 laps to go, and there's nobody in his zip code as far as lap times at the moment, so he is really scooting. But looking back through the field, not really anybody close by that's going to be battling. We got McLean going by Bedwell here. It's not for position. Bedwell's in the 5th position. McLean is 1 lap down, trying to make a little strategy call. Bedwell up 10 spots from where he started, though. Started 15th, but made his way back in the top 5. And, I want to see more out of Bedwell. He's got the 1 win, which is great. But, and he's got the consistency. But I wonder if he's got – if he got to go out there and get a win, I wonder if Bedwell, is going to be able to do it. It just seems like this season he's doing sort of a Matt Kenseth type deal where he just tries to get as many points as possible. But he's just a little bit off of speed, so I don't know what's going on. I know last season he had a move, had some new equipment, kind of changed the feel up. But this season he's been really consistent. But if it comes down to Phoenix, I just wonder if he's just kind of coasting and then turn on the gas for Phoenix, or if he's got some work to do to get that 95 machine into victory lane. Because I think just like every other playoffs in the Final Four, you got to win that final race. You can't afford not to go up there and get the victory.
Yeah, for sure. You can flip it to a real life scenario with Daniel Hemrick. He didn't win at all during the regular season or even in the playoffs, but when they got down to Phoenix, he turned it on there at the end and ended up getting his first career win and the championship in the same night. So, maybe Bedwell's trying to take a note out of that playbook.
Yeah, you may be right. And he doesn't have a lot to race for tonight. He's the points leader. He's got it by a mile, but so I'm excited to see, because I know what he's capable of. I know I've seen the speed out of Bedwell. I mean, I've seen the multiple wins. He's always calm and cool, and so I'm excited to see once the playoff starts if he ramps up that intensity, kind of like what Ray Rogers has done. Ray is one of those guys that just run in the back for a while. The first few races start in the back, finish 7th, finish 5th, because it goes green, and then like the last couple weeks, qualifies up in the top 5 and takes the lead and sets sail. So I'm excited to see once the intensity. Playoff racing is just so much fun. These guys really, I said this earlier, and it's so true. Everybody says, oh, I don't care. It's just plastic trophies. Nobody cares. They care, Dakota.
Yeah, for sure. Anytime you can, say you're the champion at something, real life, sim racing, fantasy football, just to say, hey, I'm the champion at this, I'll take that any day.
Yeah, I mean, I say what's the point of showing up? It's to show up and have fun. We're just sim racing, but I think some people like to downplay it, but I know there's a bunch of guys in here that want this championship. So I think once the playoff starts next week, it's going to be wild and crazy. I think we'll see people making all kinds of moves and strategy calls to get up front. But right now, Bedwell just taking it easy. But Ray Rogers out front, 10 laps to go. He's got 2.3, almost 2.4 second lead over the 13 of Garrett Kinder, as he is going to slice and dice through this lap traffic. And he's got plenty of time. He's got 2.5 seconds. He can be patient. Somebody gets a little bit loose in front of him, he can back off a little bit, so he doesn't have much of a rush. But Ray, with those 25 laps leading the most important ones. Garrett Kinder trying to hang on to this second spot. He's got a 5.8 second lead over Tracy Passons, who has had a nice recovery after that almost half spin earlier, and finds himself in that podium position. So we're going to get to talk to Tracy Passons again. I think it's like 3 weeks in a row we've been able to talk to Tracy. So pretty dang good race out of him. But right now, everybody's sort of spread out. We've got Chris McLean going around Dana Shepard. Chris McLean on those fresh tires gets by him pretty easily and sets his sights on Kunkel, but he is currently running the 10th position. I think Chris may be disappointed. I'd be interested to talk with him after the race and see exactly what happened, but I imagine he's probably a little bit disappointed with the 10th place finish after being up front so early.
Yeah, for sure. Anytime you have a very strong truck, I think you should finish in the top 3, if not win the thing. Anytime you finish outside the top 5 with a fast truck like McLean, that's kind of a kick in the knockers.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that that early pit hurt him? It just seems like he was falling back a little bit, but he pit so early, and by the time the pit cycle kind of worked its way through, Garrett Kinder and Ray Rogers just kind of blew past him. I'm just wondering if he's probably regretting the decision to come down so early. I'm not sure, but and then the unscheduled pit stop about 22 laps ago. And not really sure what happened to Chris, but I've watched him on his camera. He's trying to hang on to this thing. That bad boy is loose. You can see those arms going up and down as he's trying to hang on to that truck. So really, really getting with it. Ray Rogers, though, 4 laps to go. The lead is up to 2.9 seconds over Garrett Kinder, as Ray going to put Todd Schott, somebody we hadn't talked about a whole lot tonight. Glad to have him racing with us. Used to be somebody that we'd see all the time, but I'm sure work, life, things happen, and glad to see him back. But he is currently in the 13th position as he goes a second lap down. Ray has lapped up to the 7th position. That's pretty dang impressive.
Yeah, it really is. That's a product of being, smooth and fast lap after lap. You can put a lot of people, laps down.
2 laps to go we've got a battle here between teammates Alan Nash and Aaron Adcock. The white flag is out here for Ray Rogers as he comes down into 3 and 4, and he will cap off the 2 in a row as he comes off the corner, and Ray Rogers is going to take home the victory here in Richmond. As we go back to that battle between Aaron Adcock and Alan Nash, who gets a nice run off of turn 2, and they make a little contact. And Alan Nash, they got to have a big old grin on their face after that, because that was a lot of fun to watch. They go through 3 and 4, and checkered flag is out for them. Wow. Well, I mean, just an impressive drive by Ray Rogers. Really fun race. A lot of action, a lot of things happening. Guys getting loose. And your Ray Rogers is your winner here tonight. Takes home another victory, 2 in a row. Really lighting them on fire here. Well, all right. Well, let's talk about the results. Let's go through here and see where everybody finished. Only 2 cautions tonight. You see 6 lead changes. Definitely a pretty fun race. Low cautions, just the one for the accident between Josh Lokovitz and Aaron Adcock. The other one was for the stage break. But Ray Rogers, Garrett Kinder, and Tracy Passons are your top 3. Charles Stevens Jr., second in points, comes home in 4th. Another great points night for him. Chris Bedwell with that 5th place finish. Alan Nash with the 6th. Aaron Adcock with 7th place. 8th place is James Kunkel with that long pit strategy, able to get an 8th position finish. Chuck Phelps with a 9th place. A great finish for him. And Chris McLean comes home in 10th.
Yeah, looks like you got a Dana Shepard rolling off or finishing the race in 11th, followed by Matt Rogers, Todd Schott in 13th. You have Smith there in 14th, Stephen Ayers Jr. in 15th, Daniel Holcroft finished 16th, Joshua Lokovich finished 17th, and Willie Evernham rounding out your field in 18th.
Well, all right. Well, we got to get some interviews going. Can't wait to talk to these guys, hear about the race. But first thing we're going to do, though, is we're going to talk about our league sponsor, ApexSimRacing.com. Go check them out. Go see what they got over there. Go get a button box. Go get something from over there. You got a switch. You want to put a switch inside your refrigerator. Where you flip the switch and ice falls out or something. I don't know. Go buy something from them. Get something from ApexSimRacing.com. Go check them out. They got some cool stuff. Get your rig all decked out and go check it out. Apex Jimmy over there does really good work. Definitely appreciate him being a part of this series. But, man, I don't know. Before we get these interviews going, Dakota, what are your kind of thoughts about this race? What do you think about the way that it ended up? What surprised you? What kind of, didn't surprise you about tonight?
You couldn't have asked for a better race. You can get some races that go, totally green. It's a total bore fest. And then you can get caution filled, man, I don't want to be here. I think this was the perfect mix, with your stage break caution and, the one for incident that, nothing really surprised me. Your normal suspects, was in the top 5 and, it's always nice to see Chuck Phelps come away with the top 10, no matter where he's at, he had a ball.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's get in some interviews and let's talk to our 3rd place finisher, Tracy Passons, who comes home with that final podium position. Tracy, Eddie, Dakota in the booth. You got a copy?
How y'all doing tonight?
Well, man, we're doing great. And it feels like you ought to be too, because you started 3rd. You were battling for that 2nd position. You got loose, fighting with your teammate, and fell back towards the back half of the top 10 and, man, drove your way through the field and got back to that 3rd position. Talk a little bit about your race and, kind of what your thoughts process was whenever you got loose, fell back a little bit, and had to work your way back to the front.
Well, when I fell back, I knew I was battling Chris a little bit too hard. I knew I had to gather my stuff back up and start driving a racetrack and quit racing somebody else beside me to try to pass them, That's what probably helped me get back to the front, or closer.
Well, you were able to get up there, and you felt like you had a pretty good pace. If that caution did come out, what are your thoughts about what you have been able to do to get up there and try to get that win here tonight?
I think it had been tough with Kinder and Ray. They good drivers, and they in a different lead than what I am. But I would have given it 100%, try to get up there for sure. Well, I would have took 4 tires.
Well, I think you're pretty safe in the playoffs. The playoffs is over with, or the regular season now over with. You were pretty solid into the playoffs. I think the 3rd place finish is probably gonna definitely put the pin on that. But the last few weeks, though, Tracy, you've been fast. Now, you've always been pretty fast, but it seems like here lately there's been a little bit extra coming out of that 53 truck. What's changed? I think I asked you this last week, but you keep doing it. And you're getting consistent at different type of tracks. What's changed from Tracy Passons of the past to what you got going on right now?
Well, like I told you, I'm just trying to race the racetrack and race my pace and my speed and my ability to make each turn. And I think that's helped me learn the track a little bit better, learn some mistakes that I've been trying to make,
Well, it seems like whatever you're doing is working. So keep on at it, and congratulations on making the playoffs. And looking forward to see how deep you can make a run here.
Well, thank you, and we appreciate you broadcasting and sponsored Apex and all my teammates down there in Pole Man Motorsports, and we've got to tear that 51 down. That's just all it is to it. I think I saw something hanging off the backside of that truck. We're gonna check it out and make sure it ain't illegal before we get it back on the racetrack. But other than that, we'll let y'all go. You ready to say bye?
All right, Tracy. Well, man, I appreciate it. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
To Tracy Passons, your first driver in the Pole Man Motorsports post-race interviews. So congratulations to him on a third place. And I think, Dakota, you're caught up with your second place finisher, Garrett Kinder.
Yeah, Garrett Kinder's Dakota and Eddie's booth. How's it going, bud?
Well, it's going pretty good. Just tired of seeing Ray Rogers' taillights all the time.
Yeah, he's a thorn in everybody's side, no matter what league he's in. But you had a strong truck. You had that bobble trying to get on pit road. You almost eat them barrels. Let's kind of go through what your thought process was. Through that. That was a big moment. Let's kind of unpack what you was going through there.
Man, I knew kind of what lap I was shooting for. Kind of early on, I knew Ray had got around Chris, and he was just steadily, creeping me in. Every 2-3 laps, he'd gain a tenth or two. It seemed like on that run, and I knew he'd be awful close to me whenever I was wanting to pit. And last time I pit when I was in front of him, he just came, right in behind me, and he ended up winning that race too. So I thought, maybe I'll get him real close to me, and then I'll dive in late and try and pull one over and get a lap on him, because fall off on this thing is insane, 2.5, 3 seconds sometimes. So just trying to do that, man, it just didn't work out. It flat out didn't work out. I dove in there and immediately knew that I needed to abort, but I tried to stick with it, tried to feed a little more brake and get it loose and kind of drift sideways in, carrying a little bit of speed, but didn't really work. Came back out, and me and Ray made a little bit of contact, which is minor detail. He still ended up winning the dang race, but yeah, just a little bit of a fumble on my part, trying to play a little bit of strategy games against Ray, but he ended up staying out 2-3 extra laps anyway. But damage was pretty much done by that point. Everything that I could have gained, I gave up whenever I bobbled on pit road.
Yeah, that was a heck of a comeback though. From that, that is a huge moment. No matter what track you're at, to come back to finish second, any other normal person, they'd have been like, well, I'm done. I'm gonna finish, 8th, 9th. But you kept your head down. You trucked on back to the front. You couldn't ask for a better show. From the fan standpoint, the booth. You got anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, man. Thank y'all up in the booth. I look forward to going back and watching the dynamic duo get after it up there in the booth. So shout out to both of y'all. All my family watching back home. Kinder Farm and Ranch, Ratchet Speed Shop. Just been on the board since day one. Great people. Big Frig and Cross 5 cattle coolers. If you want to keep your stuff hot and keep your stuff cold for cheaper and longer than anybody else, make sure you check out Big Frig and Cross 5 cattle coolers at bigfrig.com. Ray Page and Andy over at Wolfpack Racing. All the teammates over here, Pole Man Motorsports, had a pretty good showing along with the low cash guys. So big shout out to them. I think Bedwell ended up wrapping up the regular season championship. So shout out to Bedwell. Congratulations. That's a hard feat to do. So shout out to him. And then all my short tracking guys over at Velocity Motorsports. Everybody that makes the league tick over here. Aaron keeping the lights on over here. It's a blast. Jimmy at Apex, man. He's got a good thing going over here, and I like it's some of the best racing I have.
Yeah, well, that was a heck of a rebound, and good luck heading into the playoffs. I'll be watching even if I'm not in the booth, so we'll be cheering you on.
Make sure you're rooting on that number 1-3. Come on.
There you have it. Second place finisher, Garrett Kinder, with another great finish, and then two in a row here for Ray Rogers. Takes home the victory here tonight at Richmond, Virginia. Ray, you got Dakota, Eddie in the booth. You got a copy.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, man.
Well, man, we talked to you last week. You won the race, and then you come in tonight. You start up front, and you just slowly work through those guys and get up to the front. Pit strategy, you only led 34 laps, which sounds silly because it seemed like you were the fastest truck on the track all night long. Garrett Kinder had a little slip up there going down pit road. You were able to capitalize on that, come down pit road a little bit later with those fresh tires and just drive right on by. Congratulations on the win. But talk a little bit about your race, what you were planning on doing, and as the race was progressing, what, as you kept moving forward, what were your thoughts and what was your strategy to try to get to the end and get the dub?
Well, like I was telling Trish, I was content running right there and fourth behind them guys because I think they're in the playoffs. So I didn't want to mingle with them too much and cause them, any trouble up there. But as the laps went on, they were just kind of falling off. So, and I'm like, well, I need to get around these guys then because I might as well go up there and try to, mess around with the leader up there. So, it was just being patient behind them, saving my tires. Those guys were running so hard up there that I knew in about 20 laps or so they're just going to fall off anyway. So I was just patient, and then when I seen them start falling off, I got up there and I wasn't sure if I can contend with Garrett because he was fast. But once I finally got around McLean and I was able to run him down a little bit, I knew I had something for him. I just needed some fresh tires.
Well, and you got those fresh tires and you came out and able to kind of set sail. What's the secret to Richmond? Tell me a little bit about when you come into Richmond, and I know you've been racing for a long time here on iRacing, and you have an idea before you even jump in the server, how you're going to race it. What is your strategy now that you've won the race? You can give all the secrets away, Ray. What's your when you come into Richmond in the truck, your first thought is what?
Oh, come on now. You know better than this than I am. But the key is backing the corners up on both ends of the track. You can't drive it in there 175 miles an hour. You can't do it. And you feel slow, but you have to back the corners up or you're not going to make the corner. So that's my mindset coming in here. And I'll be honest, I'm not that great here. I miss my marks. I don't know how many times in both ends of the corner. And it's so easy to do. But I know coming in here, I know you have to hit the bottom every lap. There's no two lanes to this track. There's the bottom and the bottom only, especially on older tires. So, like my mindset is to back the corner up 100% and just slowly get back in the corner, hit that apex, and get the drive off.
Well, you nailed it tonight. I mean, just a flawless victory and come home with win number 2 in a row. I think that's win 3 for you, but 2 in a row, which is, man, it's hard to do here. So, man, Ray, congratulations. Always, man. Who you got to thank? Sponsor shout-outs.
Hey, just a shout out, like I say every week, everybody, all the sponsors out there. I don't know them all. Garrett Kinder, Peg Leg. I mean, it's several of them. I can't remember them all, but thank every last one of them, including Apex for sponsoring the whole series. I can't thank them enough. You for taking the time out to come out here and do this because I love going back and watching the broadcast. Aaron for putting this on. It takes a lot of out of his time, and of course, my family allowing me to come in here and do what I like to do.
Well, congratulations on the win, Ray. Definitely earned it, and looking forward to see how many wins you can snatch from these playoff drivers through the rest of the playoffs. Not eligible for the playoffs, so you won't be making a championship run. But man, you know what? Championships are nice, but it sure does it sure is fun to win, and you've done it 2 weeks in a row. So congratulations. Look forward to talking to you in the future.
All right, bud. You take care, man. Have a good night.
Man, there you have it. Winner, Ray Rogers. That is, of course, your Po-Man Motorsports post-race interviews. So definitely congratulations to Ray Rogers and thank them as well, Po-Man Motorsports for sponsoring that segment. But, man, Richmond always delivers, and it definitely delivered tonight. Want to thank some other sponsors. We also, I think I forgot to do one, so I'm going to go ahead and throw them up. Low Cash Motorsports starting grid. Definitely want to shout them out. Kinder Farm and Ranch with the Records Rewind. We got to use you a little bit tonight, so happy to. It's a double-edged sword. I'm always happy to show off Kinder Farm and Ranch, but I'm never happy to see the cautions a lot of times. So definitely want to thank them, Chuck Pegleg, for the pole award. We have to give out the Trigger Time Jammed Up Award. I'm going to put you on the spot, Dakota. It's sort of a hard luck award here. If you had to give this award to somebody tonight, and I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but who would you give that to?
I think, having one caution for instance, I think you got to give it to. We'll split it. We'll give it to Chuck and Locum. They like trekking, but they didn't ask for nothing more.
Yeah. So Lokovitz will be your Trigger Time Jammed Up Award winner. Thank you to Trigger Time Indoor Shooting Range for sponsoring that award. Nobody likes to give out that award because it's such a negative one, but they paid for it, and unfortunately, Josh Lokovitz is going to take home that one tonight. As far as the Hard Charger Award, that is going to go to Chris Bedwell, your points leader and regular season champion. He is going to be the Kyle Roberts Handmade Leather Hard Charger Award winner. So congratulations to him. He finished with the top 5. Was trying to get him in here to talk to him, waiting to see if maybe he would pop back in here, but it looks like he is heading out for the night. Don't blame him one bit, but congratulations to him on winning the regular season championship. And I know he's ready to get this playoff run going. But man, I'll tell you what, another good one here in Apex. I want to thank Aaron Adcock for putting this series on, all the sponsors, and Dakota won't thank you, man. It just makes it so much easier when you're in here. I think you bring some really good insight. And dadgummit, I'm from the country too, and I feel like you're my brother, and it just feels like an easy call in this race tonight. But definitely thank you for being a part of it. Did you have fun at least? Was it at least fun?
Yeah, anytime you get the booth, blast, and thank you on the flip side of it for allowing me to come. I experienced at this, and got to thank covers, putting on and got to thank that tuned into the live stream on, kind of has a, you're from Mississippi, from Virginia, so that's quite that. So we got to hand out to them, but can't thank him.
Well, thank everybody for watching, everybody in chat. Kevin Kinder, Ratchet Miller, always love to see those guys. Derek Donna, Ray Rogers, making a chat. He's texting and driving. Ginger Parent, and Chris McLean in chat as well. So I want to thank everybody for watching, everybody who was in chat talking it up. Definitely want to thank y'all. Thank y'all for watching the V-Speed Racing Network. Some of you may be wondering, and hopefully you hear this part, but wondering, what is V-Speed? Well, a couple weeks in now, and I want to thank Adam Baker, Bradley Cooper, those two guys who allowed me to come be a part of their deal, use their graphics, and be a part of a team. They put on some really good shows. So definitely want to thank them. But V-Speed Racing Network is what RRN used to be, and we've rebranded, doing something different, trying to move forward and offer some really high quality broadcasting for what I think is a little bit more affordable than what you see out of some. So definitely appreciate y'all staying subscribed. If you aren't, please click it. Let us get some visibility and some crossover. And if you go check out V-Speed on Twitter, you'll see the after race little posters. We'll see Ray Rogers on it again, which is exciting. But definitely go check out V-Speed on the socials. Go subscribe to their main channel, and V-Speed too. You'll catch me there on Friday nights, as we call the Champion Motorsports Friday Night Truck Series League. A bunch of road course guys racing the trucks on ovals. That's a lot of fun to watch. So definitely go subscribe to those channels as well. And thank y'all so much for watching. We'll see y'all next time.